The last thing on the work diary is just a very quick kind of like, what's my opinion on agency workers? And I kind of wrote it down because obviously the last podcast started with somebody shitting in my bin. I don't know if I said on that podcast, but he's now been sacked, but he worked for an agency anyway, so I don't think he'll like be sacked from the agency. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs, but that kind of showed to me, and this isn't speaking for all people who work for an agency. Some people have to work for an agency because they couldn't get a job themselves, so they kind of have to work for an agency who throw people into different jobs. And this is not speaking for all agency workers, but the experience I've had and seen from the agency workers that I have been in contact with or seen or whatever it is, because they work for the agency, not the company, the level of care for that company is not the same as if they worked for that company. Now, I don't know if that goes without saying, but to me, like to me, work is work, and I would take the same level of care for work, whether I was like I've literally, while owning this business, I've worked for somebody I know for their company because they needed help. Now that's basically me being an agency. Obviously they're a friend, so it's a bit different, but I took the same level of care for his company as I would if I was working for my own company. And I don't know, but I just feel like that's the same way as what I do if I worked for an agency as well. And I don't feel like the ones I've come in contact with, especially this guy who's shit in the bin, they don't have the same level of care. Like this guy, for example, shat in the company that he was working for's branded plastic bucket. Like, that's pure stupidity. And I would hope that if he worked for that company, he would think, maybe I shouldn't leave the branding on this plastic bucket because it's going to look bad on this company. But I think because he was an agency, he didn't care. And I've seen people just not care about the company they're working for because they're there for the time, they then get paid, and they probably won't be there next week anyway because they'll be put on a different job. And that's why I've never hired anyone from an agency. And I've been approached by so many agencies, like, have you thought about when you're busy, just jumping into an agency, grabbing a few people for a week and then bouncing out? And there's some jobs in our business, like what I get my niece, my nana to do, which are so easy that nothing could really go wrong. But I just have not seen anything good from my eyes from an agency that I would want them to kind of work in my company. And that's nothing bad on the people that work for an agency are hardworking. There probably is a lot of them. It's just I would much rather hire somebody or bring somebody in that I knew temporarily, because that kind of gives me a bit more level of care.